What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Dracoslayer deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Zach. And this deck is an extremely powerful deck now that we have Draco face-off back at 3, which is just absolutely crazy in this deck. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of our notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like in your name description in a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. And definitely give Zach some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Ignis Phoenix. Ignis Phoenix is a definite 3 of the build that has an awesome effect that if this card on the field is destroyed by battle back artifact, you can actually special summon a Dracoslayer monster from your deck, and if you do, it's treated as a tuner, which is a great effect because we have multiple ways to be able to pop this card and then be able to special summon a monster from the deck, which is such a cool thing about this card. We then play 3 copies of Majesty Pegasus. Majesty Pegasus is a definite 3 of the build because this card can actually search out field spells directly from your deck to your hand, which is really cool because if this card is special summoned by the effect of a Dracoslayer card or its Pendulum Summon, you can add a field spell card from your deck to your hand, then discard a card, which is a really awesome effect to be able to use this card because we have 2 really powerful field spells we can actually search with this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of Power Load. Power Load is a definite 3 of in the build that has a great effect that you can actually target a Dracoslayer card in your other Pendulum Zone and special summon it to your side of the field, which is instantly going to get you a monster on the field off this card's effect, which is a great ability for this card to have. We then play 2 copies of Luster Pendulum. Luster Pendulum is a definite 2 of in the build, and this card is amazing in the deck because it has the ability once per turn. If you have a card in your other Pendulum Zone, you can actually destroy that card in your other Pendulum Zone and then add 1 card from your deck to your hand with the same exact name as the card you just destroyed with this card's ability, which works extremely well with their copy of our Ignis Phoenix because we can pop Ignis Phoenix, get a special summon from the deck, and then search out another copy of your Ignis Phoenix off the copy of Luster Pendulum, which is an amazing effect for this card to have. We then play 2 copies of Master Pendulum. Master Pendulum is really good as a 2 of in this particular build because it has a great scale effect that once per turn, when this card is in your Pendulum Zone, you can actually target 1 card in a Pendulum Zone and destroy it, which is a great ability to be able to pop again your copy of your Ignis Phoenix so you get a special summon. It's a really good 2 of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Vector Pendulum, the Drake Overlord. This card is great in the deck as a 2 of to be able to work with your copy of your Draco face-off. You have to play this card as a 2 of because you need a Drake Overlord in the deck, and this card is also great because it is a scale 3. We then play 3 copies of Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. This card is a great card in this particular build, and because of all this text, you only actually use 1 effect on this card, that you can actually discard this card and then pay 500 life points to be able to add a level 8 or lower Dragon Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool ability for this card to have to be able to instantly get one of your monsters from your deck to your hand that's a dragon monster. I love that effect about this card. It's just a really awesome card in the deck. It also has a pretty good scale effect that you can actually target a dragon, fusion, synchro, or XZ monster in your graveyard, destroy this card, and if you do, special summon that target, which can come in handy sometimes with your copy of your blasting Dracoslayer, the Ignis Prominence, which is really cool in this deck. We then play a single copy of Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum. Arc Pendulum works extremely well with their copy of Sky Iris because this card has a great ability that if an Odd Eyes card that you control is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can special summon another Odd Eyes card from your hand, deck, or graveyard to your side of the field, which is a great effect for this card to have. We then play 3 copies of Skullcrabat Joker, which is one of the best normal summons in the entire deck. Because when this card is normal summoned to your side of the field, you can add a Perform Pal monster, Magician Pendulum monster, or an Odd Eyes monster from your deck to your hand, which is just really good, making this card the best normal summon in the entire deck, and pretty much the Stratos for the build. We then play a single copy of Odd Eyes Dissolver. This card is a great card to be able to put in your scale because it has the ability once per turn, you can fusion summon a Dragon Fusion monster from your X deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, which is a really good ability to be able to use with this card to be able to go in for a bunch of different plays, including your copy of Vortex Dragon. We then play just a single copy of Odd Eyes Seer. Odd Odd Eyes Seer is great to be able to work with your copy of Revolution Dragon because it has the ability to target a Perform Pal or Odd Eyes card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. Then destroy this card, which works extremely well with Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon because you can actually target the Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon in the grave, pop this card, and then add it back to the hand, especially since Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon's search effect is not once per turn. So you can get a double search if you open up this card and your copy of Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon, which is great. We then play a single copy of Monkey Board. Monkey Board is a great searcher in the deck, which is why we're playing this card as a 1-of, because during your main phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can actually add a level 4 or lower Perform Pal monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability. And unless you have a Perform Pal card in your other Pendulum Zone, then this card's Pendulum Scale becomes 4, which is a little bit of a downside, but we have plenty in the deck to be able to use with this card. We then play a single copy of Perform Pal Pendulum Sorcerer. Pendulum Sorcerer is a great 1-of in the deck because if this card is special summon, you can target 2 cards that you control, up to 2 cards you control, and destroy them. And if you do, add a Perform Pal monster with different names from your deck to your hand equal to the amount of cards that you destroy, which is a great effect to be able to use with this card to get you additional searches and pop cards that you might not even need on the field. We then play a single copy of Celestial Magician. Celestial Magician is great as a 1-of in the deck, so we're also playing Harmonizing Magician in the deck, and this card is a Pendulum Magician, and it's a Perform Pal monster as well, making it a really powerful card in the deck. And depending on the kind of cards that you have on the field, when this card is normally special summon, you can actually activate this effect that if you control a fusion monster, this card can attack directly. If you control a synchro monster, your opponent cannot activate monster effects. If you control an XZ monster, then this card its attack becomes double, boosting it up to 3k. And if you control a Pendulum monster during the end phase, you can actually add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really awesome effect for this card to have. I love this card as a 1-of in the deck. So, that's it for the Odd Eyes, Perform Pal, and our Dracoslayer cards. Let's get into the other generic Pendulum monsters we're playing in the deck. So for the other tech Pendulum monsters, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Magispector Bon Boko. This card is a definite 3-of in the build, because this card has a great ability. When this card is normal or special summon, you can actually add a Magispector card from your deck to your hand, which can search out your copy of your Pegasus, which is really good to be able to search out this card from your deck to your hand off this card's ability. We then play 2 copies of Harmonizing Magician. Harmonizing Magician is really good, so we actually play 2 targets in the deck for this card, with your copy of your Celestial Magician being one of them, and a copy of your Purple Poison Magician being the other, which is really good, because if this card is Pendulum summoned to your side of the field, you can actually special summon from your deck a Magician Pendulum monster from your deck and Defense Solution, which is going to get you 2 monsters on the field, so you can make a bunch of different plays with those cards. We then play a single copy of your Purple Poison Magician. Purple Poison Magician is really good as a 1-of in the deck, because it's very easy to bring this card out to your side of the field, and it's a really good 1-of in the deck, especially to summon off of your copy of Harmonizing Magician's effect. We then play a single copy of Astrograph Sorcerer. This card is amazing in this deck as a 1-of, because it has the ability, if a card you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can actually choose a monster in your graveyard or your extract, or that's banished, that was destroyed this turn, and add a monster with the same name from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool ability. We then finally play a single copy of Amorphage Sloth. This card is great in the deck to be able to work with a bunch of cards and can actually lock down your opponent, which is amazing. It works really well with your copy of your Hieratic Seals, because this is our main target we're going to actually be summoning out with our copy of Hieratic Seals, because this card has a really great monster effect that neither player can special summon monsters from the extract except Amorphage monsters, which is great to be able to lock down your opponent, because you can actually summon this card during your opponent's turn off the effect of Seals, which is a great ability. So, that's it for all the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with a single copy of Dino Mist Charge. This is so we can search out our copy of Power Load from the deck. We then play a single copy of Sky Iris. Sky Iris is definitely a 1-of in the build. It's searchable off your copy of Pegasus, and this card is great in the deck as a 1-of because it has the ability you can actually target one other face-up card that you control, destroy it, and if you do, add an Odd Eyes card from your deck to your hand. This card combos extremely well with our copy of Arc Pendulum, because if one of our Odd Eyes cards is popped, we get a search off of this, and especially special summon off of our copy of Arc Pendulum, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. Secret Village of the Spellcasters is really good in this deck because it can lock down your opponent for basically all spell effects, which is insane, but we have to control a spellcaster monster or we can't activate spells, which is easy to do in this deck. We can also search this card off our copy of our Pegasus, so this card is very easy to get to in the deck, and I just wanted an additional field spell in the deck, so if I get to this card, I still have a card I can search off of Pegasus. We then play 3 copies of Draco Face Off. This card is amazing as a 3-of in the build. It has the ability to reveal a Dracoslayer Pendulum monster and a Draco Overlord Pendulum monster from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one of them to place in your Pendulum Zone or special summon it, your choice. And if you do, add the other to your extra deck face up, which is a really cool ability to use with your copy of your Luster Pendulum and your Drake Overlord to be able to get a +1 off this card's ability. I love that effect about this card, and it's an extremely powerful 3-of in this build just to extend your plays. Plus, it's amazing that this card is finally back at 3. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with 2 copies of Ignister. Ignister is really good as a 2-of in the deck. This card has a great ability. At once per turn, you can target a Pendulum monster on the field or one face-up Pendulum monster in a Pendulum Zone and destroy it. And if you do, shuffle 1 card on the field back into the deck. And it doesn't even target the monster it shuffles back into the deck, which is super cool. You can shuffle any card you want from the field back in the deck off this effect. And once per turn, you can actually special summon a Dracoslayer monster from your deck in defense position, but it cannot be used as a synchro material for a synchro summon, which is totally fine because we have fusions and we have Xyz that we can actually use with our copy of Luster Pendulum. We then play a single copy of Borreload Savage. Borreload Savage is great in this deck because it's very easy to summon out with Harmonizing Magician, and it's a great card to be able to put on your side of the field as a walking negate. We then play a single copy of Magister Paladin. Magister Paladin is really good as a 1-of in the deck, because when this card's Xyz summon, you can add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability during the end phase of this turn, which is going to get you a search, which is just really nice for the follow-up plays. We then play a single copy of number 38. This card is easy to put on your side of the field, and it's really good in this deck because it's a spell negate. We then play a single copy of Baguska. Baguska is good in this deck as a 1-of because it's very easy to put on your side of the field just to stall the opponent just in case you need to. We then play a single copy of Dynaster Power. This card is also very easy to put on your side of the field, and you don't even have to use Polymerization to summon out this card. You just have to basically use a Dracoslayer Pendulum monster plus any other Pendulum monster to make this card, so it's very easy to put on your side of the field and an awesome defensive card in the deck. We then play a single copy of Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. This is what we usually summon off our copy of Dissolver's Effect, and this card is great in this particular build because it's a walking negate. We then play a single copy of Boral Sword. Boral Sword's really good and actually a great budget option for this deck to be able to summon to your side of the field because it helps you OTK the opponent extremely easily in this build, and it's just an awesome card. We then play a single copy of Zelantis. Zelantis is great to be able to just deal with your opponent's field and be able to reset some of our soft once per turn effects, and this card is really good in the deck. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is great in this build to be able to use as a monster negate. Also, this deck swarms like crazy, so it's very easy to be able to put this card on your side of the field because you're going to swarm the field with all sorts of monsters and then be able to have multiple monster negates on the field. We then play a single copy of Selene. Selene's just really good in this particular build to be able to make a bunch of different plays, and this card is amazing as a 1-of in the deck because it can bring back a spellcaster from the graveyard, which is a great ability to help you climb into other plays. Plus, sometimes you just leave this card on your side of the field for the arrows, and it's really good in this deck because you need a spellcaster on the field for Secret Village, and this card can actually be that card that you leave on the field. We then play 2 copies of Beyond the Pendulum. Beyond the Pendulum is a great card to be able to search cards from the deck, and it's one of the best Pendulum Link monsters we've ever gotten because this card can search Pendulum monsters and pop cards on the field, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Hieratic Seals. This is how we summon out our copy of Sloth, and this card is great in the build because it can basically like shuffle a monster back, because once per opponent's turn, if this card's in the extra monster zone, quick effect, you can actually tribute a monster from your hand or field and then return a face-up card on the field back to the hand, which is a great effect to be able to use this card as a bounce. And if this card is tributed, you can special summon a dragon monster from your hand or deck, but make its attack and defense 0, which can be your copy of your Sloth that you put on your side of the field off this card's ability. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy this one. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Dracoslayer before, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's an amazing deck. It's really crazy how powerful this deck is now that we have Draco face-off back at 3, and it's just a really fun deck to play. So, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.